The White House is taking action against Syria. President Trump ordered U.S. warships to launch 59 Tomahawk cruise missiles at a Syrian government airbase last night. Now, these are the air bases that the U.S. military has targeted, and these strikes are the first direct military strikes against Syrian President Bashar al-Assad during his country's 6-year civil war. Dr. Glen Duerr is an assistant professor of international studies at Cedarville University, joining us this morning. Thanks so much for coming in and giving us some of your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So this is obviously something that has taken over the news over the last 12 hours or so. What are the implications of this strike, and why is the timing of this seem appropriate for the Trump administration?
It's hugely important because it's a direct pushback against the chemical weapons attack earlier this week. The attack was a clear violation of the Chemical Weapons Convention, and it upholds a norm of not using chemical weapons. And so it attacks Syria for the attack on civilians, and then secondly, at the al-Sharat base, it avoids hitting Russian Air Force or any Russian troops that are usually at Latakia Air Force Base elsewhere in Syria.
There have been several countries voicing their support of this move from the United States. One of those countries, though, is not Russia. What are the implications of this in terms of the U.S.-Russia relations going forward?
It makes it more difficult. The Russian Foreign Minister, Sergei Lavrov, came out very forcefully, very angrily, noting it was a violation of international law. I think he's just trying to push back against U.S. actions, but clearly it was Syria that violated international law. But it will make things difficult. President Trump reached out to President Putin on the campaign trail. It looked like there's something of a détente in relations, but that has soured recently, and this will further sour those relations, but it's not irreparable.
There are some back home that are criticizing this just in terms of the fact that back in 2013, President Obama had asked Congress at that time to do something similar, and there was a lot of pushback against that. And now people like House Speaker Paul Ryan, who's in full support of this at the time, and President Trump as well, had said that that wasn't the right time to attack. Why is this the time to launch these airstrikes? And what does it say about obviously the political world has changed a little bit since then?
Yeah, there are different viewpoints in terms of who can initiate what types of military attacks. A president does have leeway to initiate some form of attacks, but if it's a wider war, Congress must give approval. So President Obama tried to go through Congress, whereas President Trump has simply acted. It's clearly partisan in a sense, but it's also a means for President Trump to separate himself from President Obama.
Obviously, as well, another big talking point for today is the fact that the Chinese president is in Florida. Will meet with President Trump. They were expected to talk a lot about North Korea and the relations there, but how do these airstrikes impact the discussions with the today?
It definitely throws a wrench in the system. The Chinese like stability. They like to be prepared. President Trump is kind of off the wall in ways, and he's difficult for the Chinese to manage in general. You add to the fact that you've got this airstrike ongoing, and it's going to be quite difficult. Having said that, President Xi is kind of well respected in the international realm. He's got a lot of experience. He's soft-spoken. He's kind of very careful in his judgment, and so I don't think he's going to do anything rash, and I think they're going to continue talking about trade and, as you noted, North Korea,
right, and
working on trying to stop proliferation on the Korean Peninsula.
All right, that's something that we'll certainly be following throughout the day today. Dr. Glen Duerr of Cedarville University, thanks so much for giving us some of your time this morning.
Thank you for having me.
All right, our time now is 8:36.